Welcome, Pius. So, dear participants, our session expert has already joined. So, in couple of minutes, means as per schedule, by 3 onwards, the session will be started. This particular session will be elaborated by Mr. Pius. Okay, he is an industrialist and founder of New Medical Private Limited at Maharashtra. So, in couple of minutes, we will start. So, let other participants are joining be there.
16 tuổi. 16 tuổi dân.
Hello, Pius. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Pius, are you there? Yeah, so dear participants, we are all set to start with the session 2 of first day. Mr. Pius here with us. Pius, are you there? Pius, please check the audio connection at your side. Because I think I'm audible to all. So
Yes, sir, audible.
Hello, I'm audible to you, sir?
just a bit, Pius, just a bit.
Yeah.
Yep, Piyush, audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so dear participants, our session expert Piyush is here with us for this second session of today's. So he will be discussing on his area of interest related to the biomedical application of additive manufacturing. So before requesting Mr. Piyush to initiate his discussion with you all, so I would like to highlight some brief about himself. Mr. Piyush is currently the founder and director of Neosa Medical Private Limited company, incubated at VNIT Nagpur and mentored by Venture Center Pune, having more than 12 years of experience in the domain of 3D printing for biomedical applications. He has completed a diploma from Anjuman Polytechnic Nagpur and then BE from Priyadarshini College of Engineering Nagpur, then MTech from IITDM Jabalpur. His key areas of research are additive manufacturing, 4D printing, FEA, CAD/CAM, anatomical modeling, and product development. He's also actively working towards educating youth with the latest cutting-edge technologies and has conducted and coordinated various workshops, STCs, FDPs, and 3D printing and product development. He has been proudly invited as a research person in various STC FDP by IIITs, NITs, IITs so far, and he has published more than 15 articles and 2 patents also credited into his account. So there is a lot to discuss about Mr. Piyush, but because of the time constant, I just handing over the session to Mr. Piyush. Piyush, now session is yours.
Thank you so much, sir. And sorry for the delay. I think there was some kind of technical issue
Yeah, no issue, please.
in the software. So I'll begin with the session. First of all, I'll share the screen. Do let me know if the screen is visible. Is it visible?
Yeah, Piyush, it is very clearly visible and you are audible also.
Yeah. Can you see the screens are changing, yes, sir?
Slides are keep on changing. Yes, please, you can start.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful introduction. So let's begin with today's time just to introduce about myself. So basically, I am working towards the surgical education side. So I'm working in the field of medical education in the past 7 years, and we are more keen towards developing the tools and developing the tools for the medical practitioner to enhance their surgical skill. So that's what we do. And today's topic, I'll keep on focused more on giving you an overview that where exactly we can use 3D printing in the healthcare industry. And I'll also talk about the area of research where I work, that is a surgical simulation. Okay, so let's begin with the today's session. Yeah. So first of all, if we talk about overall healthcare market, so overall healthcare market in India can be categorized into four segments. That is patient engagement, healthcare marketing, service distribution and strategy, and new product and service development. So out of this four category, the 3D printing is mostly been used in the fourth category, that is new product or service development. So that is the area where we are going to use the 3D printing techniques. Okay. So if we talk about the total medical products which are being manufactured in India, so what do you think? How much percentage of the product are currently being manufactured in India? Can you guess any number? Any percentage number? You all can type in the chat box if you have any number. 30%, 40%. Okay. So it's infinite. I'm only talking about, I'm not talking about the total number of product. I'm talking about the overall market share. Like suppose 100% of the medical product which are currently being used. So all 100% product are manufactured in India, or some of the product are manufactured in India and some are being imported. or we are export driven industry, like we manufacture all the product and export it to the global market. So if you talk about the current scenario, so currently around 15 to 20% of the product which are being manufactured in India, and 80 to 85% of the product are imported. So we are import driven. So healthcare is an import dependent sector. So we can see here there is a huge gap for the product development cycle for the researcher, if they can come up with a unique kind of product which can serve into the market, which can be beneficial for the society as well as patient. So they have a very huge potential in this sector. Okay. So coming towards the first main thing, that is the surgical simulation, where exactly we work. So what exactly is surgical simulation? So it is an environment which has been provided to the surgeon to enhance their surgical skills. So it is like we create an virtual environment or an artificial environment where the surgeon can come and do the practice. So traditionally we have two kind of models on which the surgical simulation has been done. So traditionally we use the cadavers, animal models, etc. to do the hands-on practice. And the non-traditional are the mannequins, benchtop model, artificial simulation model. So these are the non-traditional models. And the benefit of using surgical simulation is it enhances the patient better outcome and improve the standard of care. Okay. So if we talk about the current surgical practice, so current surgical practice is read, observe, and operate. So here, what basically is happening now? So all the senior most surgeon, they do the hands-on practice. They do the surgery, and junior or the assistant doctor, they are there to help them out, to assist them out. So the junior and the assistant, they won't get any chance to do the actual practice. So they are only there as an observant, and the senior most surgeon are the one who are actually doing the operation. So that is the current surgical teaching process. So it is read, observe, and then operate. So once after observing few cases, or after doing the assessment for 1 or 2 years, then maybe the junior doctor will get the chance to do some sort of minor surgeries. Likewise, when they enhance the skills in the minor surgery, then they move towards the major surgery. So this is the current scenario. So in the current scenario, the word practice has been missing. So the surgical practice should have been read, observe, practice, and operate. This has to be the actual scenario where the actual practice term is missing. So in this practice term, we work in this practice term. So we develop the tools or the equipment which are necessary to do the hands-on practice. And coming towards the question which is asked by Deepak, so cadavers are nothing but the actual dead bodies which we can use to do the hands-on practice. So by using surgical simulation, the complication can be reduced by almost all 15% if proper kind of surgical training is been given to the surgeons. So we can reduce the complication by almost all 50%. So the impact on trainee is like, if there is a lack of surgical training, then it will have a negative impact on the trainee, on the resident doctor, or the new surgeons who are actually doing the professional practice. And because of which, what will happen? They'll not be doing a proper kind of treatment on the patient. And if the proper kind of treatment has not been done on the patient, so it will ultimately reduces the patient inflow. And if the patient inflow has been reduced, so it matters the credibility of the doctor. Like suppose if any physician or the doctor is not treating a patient well, so what the patient will do, the patient will go and tell the community, tell the friends and neighbors that don't go to such and such doctor. He doesn't do a good kind of treatment. He or she doesn't do a good kind of treatment. So which ultimately reduces their credibility. So in order to improve the credibility, the surgeon has to be very skilled. And in order to improve their skill, they have to do a continuous hands-on practice. So that's why the hands-on practice is one of the most important thing in the medical practicing. Okay. So if we talk about the impact, around 35% of the surgeries lead to readmission. Like many times we heard that after doing certain kind of surgery, the patient is not been treated well. So again, the revision surgery has to be taken care of. So such kind of revision surgeries are 35%. And medical error due to malpractice, like suppose if if a surgeon is not skilled, they can do certain kind of malpractice on the patient while doing the operation. So those impact at 20%, and which ultimately increases the overall patient cost by almost 3 times. Okay. So coming towards the application of surgical simulation can be used for planning the complex cases and the rarest cases. We can use it for minimal invasive kind of surgical training. We can use it for pre-operative planning and rehearsal, and we can also use it as a interdisciplinary team-based training kind of approach. So these are the area where surgical simulation is mostly been needed. And talking about the advantages, so it enhances surgical skills. It provides a realistic environment to the surgeon to do the hands-on practice. So it also provides them a risk-free environment to do the hands-on practice, like if we are using any kind of cadaver or the dead body. So doing a surgery on a dead body itself may have certain kind of complications associated with it. So if we talk about the artificial model, such kind of artificial model are mostly risk-free because they don't need any kind of chemical preservation. So likewise, this kind of artificial model provides a risk-free environment to do the practice. Then we also can do the objective assessment and performance tracking of the surgeons, and it also helps them to do the team-based task and team-based training. So these are the advantages. And coming towards the challenges, so the major challenge is the cost and accessibility of the simulator. Then integrating the existing simulator with the current training program or the ongoing training program. Then validation and standardization of the simulator. Like if we talk about the simulator, so it is like we are developing an entire artificial environment where the surgeons are going to do the practice. What if that environment is not up to the mark to the real condition or the real situation? So one has to validate. Na? Like suppose if I'm developing an artificial human body, and that artificial human body doesn't mimic or replicate the exact human body. So what will happen? The trainee will be doing a training on a incomplete kind of model. So such kind of incomplete model, what will happen? The trainee will get trained on incomplete model, and they will do a malpractice on the patient because they are being taught on a model which doesn't simulate the real condition. So that's why validation and standardization of such kind of simulator is very, very important.
वो पाइप से चढ़वा देना कल। वैसे तो उसने साफ कर दिया है काफी हद तक।
Then comes the ethical consideration. Like we need to take ethical consideration and patient consent while doing or preparing such kind of simulators. So these are the major challenges which are there. And finally comes the material library. Like suppose when we want to make an artificial model, so we need to have a very good material library. Why? Because human body is not made up of a single kind of material. Like we have a different kind of, the body is made up of different kind of material, and every material has a different mechanical property. If we talk about bone is a hard part. If we talk about a soft tissue, in the soft tissue we have muscles, which has a different mechanical property. We have fat, which has a different mechanical property. We have a skin, which again have a different mechanical property. Then arteries, veins, nerves, brain. So all these soft tissue have a different mechanical property. So while developing an artificial simulator, it is not like we can have a single soft tissue kind of material, a rubber kind of material, which has a unified mechanical property, and we can use the same material to make every possible soft tissue within the body for the simulation. So that is not at all feasible and not at all possible. That's why maintaining and making such kind of huge material library itself is a challenging task. So if we talk about the current simulation scenario, so currently we do simulation on AR-based simulation model, VR-based simulation model, then physical simulation and cadaver training. So these four are the current tools which are being used for the surgical simulation practice. Out of this, the first two is a computer-based training program where we are going to have a certain kind of software or a virtual environment where the training is going to be done, and the last two are the physical simulation environment where we are actually going to have a physical simulations, physical area, or physical tools to do the hands-on practice. And out of all these four, the major part of the training or the most closest model which has been used for the surgical training is the cadaver training. Cadaver training is nothing but the actual dead body which has been obtained from a mortuary or from a medical research center on which the surgical training is going to be done. Okay. So now tell me, what do you think? How much cadavers are available in India to do the hands-on practice? If we talk about the ratio, like, do you think that every student, every medical student must be getting one cadaver to have a hands-on training? It is very difficult. So, okay, Deepak, the AR VR type of system are like in that we create a virtual simulation environment as we do in a video games. So that's how this kind of environment are being created. And the surgeon they'll have a joystick by which they are going to do the surgery. The AR means we are going to have the virtual one will be imposed or imposed on the actual human body, on the actual patient. That is known as augmented reality. And in VR, it is not been projected on an actual human patient. So that's AR and VR. So coming back to the question, the cadaver models are the cadavers are very difficult to get the cadaver to do the hands-on practice. And in India currently only one cadaver body is available for every 15 students to do the hands-on practice. So what will happen, so one student will do the hands-on practice and all the 14 will be there as an observant. They all 14 will be only doing the observation and one will do the actual hands-on surgery. Like we all have seen the classic movie of Munna by MBBS. There, in the scene when the main lead character have asked the circuit to bring a body so that he can do an actual hands-on practice. So that is the scene there. So we all have seen in the movies like one body has been surrounded by many medical students, and the doctor or the tree or the instructor he will do the dissection, the cutting operation, the the stitching operation, or any other operation, and he'll be only doing that all, and all the students are there for only. So what is happening? So the actual scenario. So only one available for 15 students to do the hands-on practice, and there are other problem associated with the cadaver as well. So if we talk about the cadaver, so do we know that what kind of disease that cadaver might have? We don't know. It that cadaver might have any kind of transmissible diseases. What if the cadaver might have hepatitis B or hepatitis C infection viruses? So while doing the hands-on practice, there are chances that such kind of infectious disease can be transmitted to the trainee student who is actually handling the cadaver bodies. As well as, do you really think that disposing, like after doing the practice, like these are all the one-time consumable kind of models. So once we do the practice, once we do the dissection and the operation, we cannot reuse the body again and again because it's not actual live human being that the tissues are going to what we can say, it will regrow and repair itself. So those things are not going to happen. So once the training has been done, so we need to dispose the cadaver body. So that is also one of the major challenge. Okay. So coming towards the problem, cadaver is like I have already told you that very limited number of cadavers are available, and only 15% will get the chance to do the hands-on practice. And since it's a cadaver, so we need certain kind of chemical preservator like formalin solution to preserve the body. So having such kind of chemical environment and the chemical lab, maintaining such kind of chemical lab itself is a challenging task and a very costly affair. So the cost of maintaining of such kind of cadaver lab is also very high. And once the training has been done, then disposing the cadaver is also one of the major challenge. So these are all the challenges which are associated with the cadaver body, which is one of the most closest kind of model available to do on practice. Later on, if we talk about the other models like AR, VR, or physical simulator, they have the problem associated with them. But like these three are not a close. If we talk about the percentage, wise, the cadaver is 95% closer to the actual human being. Physical model are somewhat 70 to 80% closer to the actual human being for the hands-on practice, and AR and VR are 40 to 50% closer to the actual surgical simulation practice. So every model have their own problems and challenges associated with it. So our task is to make an physical model. Like at our company at NIOSA, what we are doing is like we are developing an artificial human bone which can replace the cadaver to do the physical hands-on practice. Okay, so that is what we do. So these are the problem associated with the cadaver. So coming towards the timeline of biomedical 3D printing. So in 1987, the SLA has been invented. It has actually been patented and came into the market in 1987. Then 1992 was the year when the first prosthetic limb was printed. 1999 was the year when the first bioprinting experiment has been successfully done by the group of researcher at MIT. 2008 was the year when the first bioengineered blood vessel has been developed for regenerative medicine. 2010 was the year when the first dental implant was actually been implanted into the patient. 2011 was the year when first bioprinted human cell from scientists from Organova Institute, they have developed the first bioprinted human cell. 2014 was the year when the first 3D printed skull implant have been implanted into the patient. So they have used the cranium plate. They developed a cranium plate which was actually been implanted into the human patient. 2016 was the year when the first bioprinted skin was been used on the burn victims as a trial. 2021 is the year when first 3D printed liver model is been used. So this liver model is not actually been implanted into the patient, but it was printed just to see the feasibility of printing with the soft tissue and the feasibility and functionality of the artificial liver, whether it works as that of the real liver or not. Then 2022 was the first year when bioprinted functional human tissues such as cartilage, skins are been printed, and 2024 is the year when Organova have demonstrated the 3D printed heart wall. So till 2024, the 3D printed soft tissues or the organs, they are not actually being implanted into the human body, but these are all been printed just to see the feasibility and functionality of the actual artificial part, whether they're feasible enough to do the actual functionality of the real organs or not. Okay, so the human cells which are been used to for bioprinting are nothing but the cells which are been extracted from the patient itself to do the to make an organ. Okay. So till now we have discussed about the surgical simulation side. So now I'll just quickly walk you through the various other applications where 3D printing is mostly been used. So 3D printing for medical application can be broadly classified as tissue and organ fabrication, custom products, implant and anatomical model, and pharmaceutical research. So these are the four areas where medical 3D printing can be broadly classified as. And the benefit of using 3D printing in medical is we can customize and personalize the solution for the patient. It is it provide a very cost-effective solution for the patient. It enhance the productivity, and by using 3D printing, we can serve a large kind of population. For example, suppose if I want to give a custom kind of implant to each and everyone within a class of 60 students. Like suppose I have a 60 patient in the hospital, and I want to give a custom kind of implant to each and every 60 patient. So what will happen if we talk about a conventional process? So in conventional process, when we want to make an medical implant, for example, when you are making an orthopedic implant, so the process is like we make the implant by using casting techniques. So to make the cast, first of all, we need to have a pattern. Once we have the pattern, then we will make the mold, and once we have the mold, then the molten metal will be poured into the mold, and final casted part will be get. Once we get a casted part, then we will do the post processing operation, the post finishing operation, and finally we are going to get the end product or the end implant which is going to be implanted into the patient. So likewise, consider the same scenario for all the 60 patients. So what will happen? We need to have at least 60 patterns. So each patient will have one single pattern. So we will be making total 60 patterns, 60 molds, 60 casted part, and 60 will be the models which will go for post processing, and finally all those model will be given it to the patient. So do you really think this is going to be a cost effective solution? So this is not going to be a very cost-effective solution, because making a mold, making a pattern for each and every individual patient itself going to take some time associated with it. So the time, some cost is also going to associated with it. So, but with 3D printing, we can actually do the mass customization. Like if you want to do the same process for entire 60 patients, so I don't need to make pattern for each and everyone. So I'll be only using either the CT scan or the 3D scanning techniques, whatever the CAD modeling technique that we have. So by using CAD modeling technique, we will have a virtual CAD model of the patient itself. Then on the virtual CAD model, we will design the implant virtually into the CAD environment. And then that custom implant will be 3D printed by using metal 3D printing, and that 3D printed implant will be given it to the patient, to the surgeon for the implant. So that's how we can do the mass customization for the patients. And the material which we use in the orthopedic implant is mostly titanium alloys, or we also have stainless steel material available there. Uh, but the material which is most commonly being used is titanium alloy. Okay. So coming towards the application, the first application is surgical planning. So in surgical planning, we have two kind of model. The one is patient-specific model and patient-specific pathological model. So pathological model are nothing but a model with a rarest kind of tumor. So such kind of model are mostly been used for training and education purpose. If we talk about a patient-specific model, then we have three domain, that is pre-operative planning, patient consent and education, and pre-op and intraoperative tool. So in pre-operative planning, what we do, we can print the model for the surgeon to do the hands-on practice. So like prior entering the actual OT and doing the surgery, if we give them the exact replica of the patient who is going to be operated, so what will happen? The surgeon will do. Surgeon can pre-plan the surgery. They'll perform a mock surgery on the artificial model, and they'll know what kind of complication the surgeon is going to face while doing the surgery, or what kind of like what should be the approach, what should be the way how the surgery is going to be taken care of. So such kind of planning can be done like prior doing the actual surgery. Then we can also show the model to the patient and explain them that what kind of complication they have and where exactly they are going to be operated, or what kind of bone or the soft tissue part is going to be removed. So such kind of patient education or patient consent can also be are also quite easy for us to get such kind of patient consent by showing the models. And then we can also use the model for intraoperative tools. Like suppose, like if we talk about this example, sorry, if we talk about this example, so here what is happening now, the dental implant needs to be screwed within the jaw model. And since each and every body is a non-symmetrical kind of a body, everyone has a different contour. So we cannot, not everyone will have a fixed kind of axis on which the screws are, on which we don't have any fixed axis by which the screws needs to be implanted. So every axis or every patient will have a different contour, different axis by which the screw needs to be inserted. So then by using 3D printing, we can make such kind of guides as we see here, the transparent cap. So this is a guide which can be placed on the tooth with a predefined holes on from which the screws can be inserted, and that hole can have a certain kind of angle or axis in which the screw needs to be implanted. So such kind of surgical guides can also be made. Then we can also have a pre-bending contouring plate. Like here, if we talk about the collarbone, so on the collarbone, bone, this plate has to be implanted. So we can make this kind of fixture. We can make a predefined plates or holes where the screw needs to be fixed. So such kind of templates or fixture can also be made by using 3D printing. So this is where the mostly surgical planning application takes care of. Then we can use the 3D printing for new medical device and instrumentation. Like if you talk about the overall product development cycle. So overall product development cycle, goes from generating needs towards a product launch. So we have a different steps like need generation, concept validation, then product validation, and finally the product has been launched. So if we talk about a conventional process, conventional cycle, so it takes a long time to make a product from generating need to launching a product. So it takes almost like it depends on the uh, type of a product what we are developing. So basically, minimum 6 months are be needed to make a certain kind of product from scrap to the product launch. So that is the time which has been needed. So by using 3D printing, we can actually reduce the time. So like this 3 months can be reduced to 1.5 to 2 months, depending on the type of product what we are developing. Okay. Then we can also make affordable prostheses. Like in this slide, I've tried to show you a classic example of knee prostheses. This is below knee and above knee prostheses. So these prostheses are being made by using conventional process. So if you want to make the prosthesis by using conventional process, again, the same process is going to be done like as we do in the casting. So first the patient cast has to be made. So the patient will be tied up with a POP bandage, and the hard pattern is going to be extracted from the patient. Then the pattern will be used to make the mold, and from the mold then we are again going to make the final casted part, and then the final casted part will be fitted onto the patient. So this is the entire process of developing a prosthesis by using conventional process. But can we simplify this process? Of course we can simplify this process by using 3D printing technique. So if you want to simplify the process, what will happen now? Instead of making taking the pattern physically, what we can do is like we can 3D scan the patient's leg, either it's a below knee or above knee process. So area where the processes needs to be fitted. So we can do the 3D scanning of the part. Then once we do the 3D scanning, we will have a virtual CAD model of the patient itself, where the processes need to be fitted. Then we can design the processes virtually, try the virtual fitment, the virtual assembly, and all. And once we have a proper kind of fitment, virtual fitment body processes model available with us, then we just need to print the processes. So that's how we can reduce the conventional cycle with the 3D printing process. And 3D printing processes are very easy to customization. They have the cost is quite low as compared to the conventional process, and they provide a very good patient comfort as compared to the conventional one. Then coming towards the next application, that is organ printing. So in organ printing, so do you really think that organ printing is possible? So organ printing is currently been done. Like yeah, organ printing is currently possible, but the actual organ are not been implanted into the patient itself, but they are only been printed for to check the functionality and feasibility of the part. Like suppose if we talk about, let's take an example. Like now coming up to the material, like what kind of material we're going to use for the organ printing. So let's talk with an example. Like suppose if someone wants to have a kidney transplantation, what will happen? How the current kidney are been transplanted? So first of all, the donor will search for a receiver, then certain kind of blood reports or the donor and receiver acceptability have to be matched. So once all the reports and acceptability are being matched, then the donor will donate a kidney and the receiver will receive the kidney for the transplantation. So what will happen? Still all the properties, all the reports, everything are being matched. Still there are chances that the body might reject the kidney even after doing the transplantation. Why this is happening? Because the body will treat that kidney as as a foreign particle or a foreign organ which has been inserted into the body. And why this is happening? Because that kidney is been made from a different person's stem cells. So what if the donor and the receiver both are same, both comes from the same body? So the chances of rejection are going to be reduced a lot. So that's what we do in organ printing. So in organ printing, So that's what we do. That's what we do in organ printing. So in organ printing, we take the stem cells from the patient itself, whose organ needs to be printed, and those stem cells are being used as a raw material to print the part. And since the raw material itself is from the patient who needs to be implanted, who needs to be transplanted, so the chances of rejection are going to be reduced a lot. So that is what has been happening in the organ printing. So the bio cell or the bio ink which has been used to print the object will be from the patient itself. Okay. And coming towards the next example, that is an customized implant and processes. So we can customize the implant for the patient itself. So to make the customized implant of process would be like we will be needing a CT scan data from the patient, then converting the CT scan into a virtual model and designing the implant for the patient itself. So that is the process how we do, and the benefits are it improves the comfort, it betters the functionality of the patient, it improves the quality of a life, reduces the complication, and improves the overall patient outcome. Like many times we heard that many people are undergoing a complete knee replacement surgery. So if we talk about the current scenario, so they are using a generic kind of implant which have been fitted onto the patient. And most of the time, we heard that even after doing the surgery, the patient do complain about a lot after even after undergoing the surgery. Why that is happening? Because that implant is not a perfect kind of fit for them. So in order to improve the patient comfort, if we can provide the patient the customized kind of solution, if we can design the implant for the patient, then only his comfort is going to increase a lot. So that is what we do in custom implants. Okay. Then we have a personalized drug doses. So 3D printing in pharmaceutical can be categorized into three things, which the first one is a mass personalization, then drug development and hard to reach area. So in mass personalization, we can actually compound the drug for the patient. Like suppose if I have a fever and doctor told me to take 250 mg of paracetamol. So is it possible to take exactly 250 mg of paracetamol? No, currently it is not feasible because paracetamol do comes in 500 mg or 650 mg. So what I'll do, I'll take a 500 mg of tablet, I'll try to break it exactly into two half and consume half of the tablet. But do you really think that I'll be doing the exact half of the tablet? So that is not possible. I'll have like suppose either I'll have something which is less than 250 mg or I'll have something which is more than 250 mg. So what is happening? So the thing is either I'll be overdosed or underdosed. So in order to give a proper kind of doses to the patient, can use it for the mass personalization. Then comes the 3D printing, where you can actually customize the dose based on the patient need. Then we can use 3D printing for the drug development, where we can use 3D printing for clinical trials, preclinical studies, formulation optimization. There all we can use 3D printing. And we can also use the 3D printing for emergency services, space missions, disaster area. So all this area where 3D printing can be used. Then we have a medical 3D printing and training kind of application where we use the model to train the patient as well as the surgeon to enhance their surgical skill, like as we talked in the surgical simulation. Then next example is 3D printing for wearable devices. Like here we can see a classic example of Adidas. Adidas has been using a 3D printing technique to print shoes for their athletes. So like they are printing the soles as well as they're printing the soles, the most comfortable soles for the athletes. So like here we can see a honeycomb structure has been printed. So do you really think such kind of honeycomb structure can be manufactured by using any conventional technique? So currently, it is not feasible to manufacture such kind of complicated structure, the shock absorbing structure, by using any kind of conventional technique. So such kind of unique designs can be fabricated by 3D printing. So this is how 3D printing is happening in wearable devices. As well as we can also do a chip on printing kind of devices where the actual circuits are been printed on the softer kind of material, on the silicon kind of material, and such kind of chip can be wear by the human to do the trials. Okay. Then we have a fracture cast application. So this is an example of a conventional fracture cast. So do you really think that for conventional fracture cast is convenient for the patient? If someone has a fracture cast, so what is happening? Since it is completely been wounded onto the whole hand, so there is going to be a skin breathing issue, and we cannot apply water onto the model onto the fracture cast. So what is happening? The skin breathing issue will start. So we will have certain kind of itching and irritation will start appearing there within the hand. So these are some of the problems which have been associated with the conventional fracture cast. So by using 3D printing, we can make such kind of fracture cast and give it to the patient for the better outcome. So in this image, as we can see, this is the area where the density of the fracture cast is quite high, and this is the area where density of the fracture cast is quite low. So likewise, in 3D printing, we can actually find the region of interest where the actual fracture is going to be, and we can increase the density, increase the strength on that particular area, and on the remaining part where the strength is not being needed, so we can reduce the we can decrease the density, and we can reduce the weight. So likewise, we can make the fracture cast more convenient and more economical for the patient. So the process would be like, first of all, we're going to see the X-ray and see the major area of interest where the fracture have happened and where the density have to be increased. Then the hand is going to be 3D scanned. After scanning the hand, we are going to get a virtual 3D model of the hand. Then that hand will be used to make a fracture cast. And then we will design the virtual fracture cast, and we will fit it onto the hand and make such kind of Voronoi porous structure. And then this artificial virtual 3D model will be used to 3D print the fracture cast. So this is the conventional process how the 3D printed fracture cast have been manufactured. Okay. So these are some of the companies which are actually working in the 3D printing area for the healthcare in India. Okay. So coming towards the new OSA, so we are more inclined towards the clinical and surgical skill enhancement. So we work mostly onto the medical education side, providing like making and providing tools for the surgeons to do the hands-on practice. So the problem and need identification is like if you as we talked about the conventional process of doing the surgical practice. So mostly the training has been done on cadaver or on the VR based simulator. So if we talk about a cadaver, so like repeated training is not possible since very limited cadaver are being used. Very limited cadavers are available to do the hands-on practice. So because of the limited cadaver, very few will get a chance to do the hands-on practice. And maybe one student might get one or two cadaver into the entire 1 year of span or 1 year of curriculum to do the hands-on practice. So they'll do the practice only once or twice, depending on the availability. And there is also disposal issues, strict legislations are there, like we cannot go and take a cadaver from the mortuary to do the hands-on practice. So there are certain kind of laws and regulations which needs to be followed while getting a cadaver to do the hands-on practice. So these are the problem associated with a cadaver. And if we talk about the VR simulation kind of model, so the VR simulation model lacks haptic feedback. They don't give you the actual physical feeling what you're going to feel. Then it also lacks visual aspects. We are not going to get the exact kind of visual models. They also lack the contrast and color. It lacks the drilling sound, and they are quite expensive as compared to the a conventional one. So these are the problem associated with the existing kind of training model. So we came up with a solution of making an artificial human ear bone model, which has all the features and details as that of the real human bone. So our ear model has a ear cells like the spongy bone is there within the bony model. It has a real size middle ear, inner ear, eardrum is there. All possible nerves, vessels, arteries, everything is been incorporated within the proposed solution. And we are also developing a disease kind of pathological model with various kind of pathologies which are available, which are there within the patient. So the students or the surgeon they can opt for they can also opt for such kind of pathological diseased model and they can try their hands on such kind on one of the most complicated cases which are being used by the which are being handled by the senior most surgeon. So these are the proposed solution what we have given it for the proposed problem. So how we create a model? So in order to create a model, the process was like first of all we are going to import the CT scan data. Then we are going to convert the CT scan data into a geometrical 3D model. Then that geometrical 3D model will be done with some kind of post processing and cleaning. Then we will export the model as an STL file. Then that STL file is again going to be some post processing will be done on the STL file, like some errors will be removed from the STL file, and then finally we are going to get the cleaned STL file for the 3D printing. So this is how the entire process flow, how the model have been generated. So this is the CT scan, what we are going to be loading into the software. Then this is from CT scan we have converted the virtual CAD model, and from the virtual CAD model, so this is the total virtual CAD model what we have got, and out of the total virtual CAD model, this is the area, like this is the ear bone, which is our region of interest. So I'll try to remove all the other noises or the all other bones which have been present there. So then we did some post processing and we got the exact bony model, which is our area of interest. And then this model is been exported for doing the 3D printing. So this is the first product what we have developed, which is an artificial ear bone, and we have segmented into a four models, that is adult healthy model, pediatric healthy model, adult pathological model, and pediatric pathological model. So the process chain for developing the CAD model, what I have shown you, so the same process chain is for all the four models to get the virtual CAD model and get it printed. So the material what we use to print here is a lifelike patent pending bone-like material, and we have also developed a soft tissue-like material which gives the feeling of a soft tissue. And more than 10 plus surgeries can be practiced on this kind of models. So the features what we are offering in the product is like we can use with a very high drill force can be withstanded by the model, and it is made up of a bone-like material. It can withstand a very high drill speed. Heat dissipation from the bone is a very good. We are also developing pathological model, and all our models are multi-material kind of model. So it's not like only the bone is going to be there. The bone will be there along with the soft tissue, nerves, vessels, kind of multi-material package is going to be there. So the value proposition like this model apps is been decreased a lot.
Yeah, Piyush, are you there? I think some connection issues are there, I think. Okay, no issue. Dear participant, be there. I think some connection issues are there. It will be resolved in a couple of minutes, please.
So that's my team who works in the surgical simulation area, and we are currently incubated at VNIT Nagpur, from where we are doing all the operations. And in the last 7 months, we have trained more than 800 plus
Hello,
surgeons with
Piyush.
the hands-on practice. And we launched the product in January 2022.
Piyush, sorry
And
to
since
interrupt. Am
launch,
I
we
audible?
have trained more than 2,000 plus surgeons uh, to with the surgical skills. So that's what we do at New OSA.
So
So
sorry,
I hope like
sir, your slide
I
is
hope
not
that
visible.
you all my understood
कराया पर क्लास का थोड़ा सा ठीक रह गया।
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Piyush, now audible, please. Your screen is not visible, so just share your screen again, na?
Am I audible to you, sir, now?
Yes, sir. You're
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now audible.
Yeah. So is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Could you please let me know where from where the screen have missed?
Sir, this simulations model you are mentioning about the simulation.
This one or the next? I think this have already gone through. From here I have missed, na?
Yes, sir, you can. Yes, Piyush.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll continue with this. So the feature what we are offering is like we can withstand a very high drill force while doing the dissection, and we have a bone-like material on which we can do a very high speed drilling. Like when the bone drilling is actually been happening, so the speed varies a lot. Like if you talk about the minimum RPM is around 10,000 RPM and maximum it goes up to 80,000 or 90,000 RPM. So there is a very high a variable range of drilling. So the material should withstand the lowest torque as well as the highest torque. So our material is compatible to withstand both the drilling forces. And the heat dissipation is also very good. Like when we do a high speed drilling, localized heat generation is there is a very high localized heat generation. So during that time, if the heat dissipation is not good, then there are chances that the material might get fused altogether there itself. So that's why high heat dissipation is been needed. So our material have a very high heat dissipation, and we also make pathological model, and our model is a multi-material kind of model. So value proposition, what we do is like all the models what we developed are dissectable as that of the other model which are available online. So which can be only used to do the physical examination, but cannot be used for actual surgical practice. And our model has 60% cost saving, made up of eco-friendly and multi-material. It is a biomechanical material. It is free from infectious agent. And benefit to the users is like we can perform more than 10 plus surgery, easy lab setup since it does not need any kind of chemical preservation. So the lab setup is quite easy, and these are easily available. Disposal is not a major issue since it's a made up of non-toxic material, and very few precautions are been needed as that of the cadaver. So these are the benefits. And these are some of the photos of the actual hands-on practice what we offer. So till now we have trained more than 2000 plus delegates or the surgeons with their surgical skills. And that's my team who is working from VNIT. So we are currently incubated at VNIT Nagpur, and we are developing this solution from the past 2 years. And we also received BIRAC BIG to develop the artificial bone. And so we received BIRAC in 2020 and completed the project in 2022. And post completion, we launched the product into the market, and now we are supplying the product within India as well as abroad to enhance the surgeon skills. So that's all about today's session. So I hope that I have just make you a glimpse about where exactly 3D printing has been used in the medical sector. So now I'll keep the another more than half an hour for the interactive kind of session. Like if you have any question, any doubts, so do let me know. I'll here to help out with the doubts. And I can see that many questions are there in the chat box. So I'll try to answer them one by one. So that's all for today's presentation. Now let's go with the questions.
Yeah, Piyush. Thank you
Yes, sir.
for this wonderful discussion with our participants. So now we can have some queries now.
Yes, sir.
How
I've
to
said like
improve
Deepak proposed.
integration of the bone? Osseointegration, I think.
Osseointegration.
Yeah, osseointegration of the bone. How to improve?
To improve the osseointegration, like we need to have a biocompatible kind of material first. So we add certain kind of minerals and ceramics, which helps for the osseointegration. And Deepak I'll sir, can I go above like can I try to answer the questions which are previously been posted in the chat box? I'll go with the sequence. Yeah. So
Yes,
Sudhir
any
was asking.
other queries? Piyush, someone is asking about any open source software.
Uh, Open source softwares are there. Like we have a 3D slicer, which we can use to do the which we can use to convert for CT scan into a 3D model. Then what
One
type?
query is, Piyush, what products made by HP using 3D printing?
HP is basically a plastic polymer 3D printing technique. What they're proposing, so we can make any kind of product by using HP. Made. If you talk about the medical side, the bones can be made. Then we can use it for pre-surgical planning kind of material. And apart from this two medical technique, then we have a very good engineering application for the HP printers. We have very good civil application as well.
How to select bio implant material like titanium and steel? How to select?
In order to select the material, it depends on the application where the material is going to be. Suppose if it's a short-term kind of application where that implant is going to be removed or replaced after a certain point of time, then we can use a different kind of material. If it's a long-term kind of application, like where the load is going to be there a lot, then we use the titanium alloys. So depending on the application, we have to select the material.
Okay, Piyush, another query is which material is good for orthopedic implant to present scenario means nowadays? Which
So
material?
uh, currently there are many materials is been used. Like if we talk about the polymers, in polymer we have a peak material which we can use. Then if you talk about the metallic side, then we have titanium alloy, we have stainless steel, we have chromium steel. So those materials are been used for the metallic side. And if you talk about the ceramic, then we have a bone ceramic kind of material which we can use to make the implants.
Good afternoon, sir. I have some query.
Yeah,
Am I audible, sir?
yeah, you are
Uh,
audible.
Sir, actually, just you mentioned that you can also use ceramic and you can also metallic. So,
Mm-hmm.
means for ceramics
Mm-hmm.
implant, if you wish ceramic implants, um, means will it
Mm-hmm.
be good for kind of where the load is more, or the ceramic will provide the that amount of strength?
Ceramic do provide that amount of strength. Mostly what is happening now when we use the ceramic material implants. So like the bone has a growing property. Suppose sometimes so we place the ceramic implant as a scaffold, as a supporting structure there on which the bone growth will happen. So once the bone has been grown, so do we still need a ceramic implant there? No, we don't need. So in that case, we use a biodegradable ceramic implants which have been placed within the bone on which the actual bone growth will start. So as soon as the bone will grow, that implant will be absorbed within the body, and likewise the entire implant will be replaced with the natural human bone. And those
Uh,
ceramic are actually taking the loads.
okay, sir. And for the titanium, means another question is for the
Hmm.
titanium. Actually means it is kind of traditional implants, and it is being used for many years. So
Hmm.
any is there substitutions of this metals like uh, this steel or titanium? And if we observe the current scenario of these implants markets, so these implants
Hmm.
are, I mean, it's very costly. So what are the, you know, alternative of these implants?
Alternative, like currently, most of the implant are also been printed with the peak material. So you can use that material as well to develop the implant. And it is not like we can like there are plenty of metals which are there in the market which withstands a very good load, but all those material are not biocompatible. So first of all, the first major criteria to develop the implant to select the implantable material is not the load, but is the biocompatibility. So if the material is having a very good biocompatibility, then only we can use that material for the implant. So suppose if we have any other material which has a very good load withstanding property as compared to the steel or titanium alloy, but still we cannot use that material because of the biocompatibility issue. So that's why the titanium alloy is one of the most biocompatible metallic implantable material which is available in the market. So that's why we use that material for a very quite a longer period of time.
Yes,
And
sir. For this
coming to the substitute.
biocompatibility,
Mhm.
sir, for this
Mhm.
biocompatibility, we are now seeing that magnesium alloy also possesses this kind of properties. But the problem is that magnesium
Yep,
alloy degrades rapidly. So
correct,
for
correct.
it cannot
And when
sustain
it
for, yeah, for a
a
longer
longer period of
time.
time, and even like when it degrades, it will increase some kind of toxicity within the body. So even that toxicity will have a reaction within the body.
But sir, if
So
we can control the degradation rate,
mhm.
means will it be then we can use it in that?
If even if you can control the degradation rate, then you need to check the biocompatibility. Like okay, it's like suppose like how degradation you are going to control, and whether that suppose it should not be like na कि अगर हमने आज डाला उसको, like if we have implanted a model today and after 1 year or 2 year or 3 year, what if that implant is causing any kind of reaction? So that might happen na, with the newer kind of material. So putting any new material within the body takes a long period of time for the validation. So like I don't know whether you know about the clinical trials or not. So whenever any new implant
Yes,
is
sir,
being
yes.
built,
Yeah.
there is a huge kind of pathway which we need to follow. So first we will do the animal trial, then we will do the clinical trials, and later on once we clear all the stages, then only we can implant a product into the market, into the patient. So that even that human trial phase itself is going to last for 3 to 5 years. So it's a long journey to get the validation for such kind of newer material. That's why people do opt for the material which is already been validated within the market. Like if you're proposing a new material for the implant, and what if your testing itself is going to last for 5 to 10 years? So will it be feasible for a new person, for a new company to invest that much of time without generating any revenue, or sustain that much of time without generating any revenue into the market? So that cannot be happen. So
Yes,
that's why
sir.
people are opting for the material which has been validated and widely accepted into the market.
Okay, okay, sir. Sir, another the last query that in one
Hmm.
slide you mentioned for organ printing means stem cells uh, for printing of that
From the
the
patient itself.
implant.
Yeah.
Actually,
Hmm.
question is that if yeah, from the patient cells, yeah. But my question is that means
Hmm.
what will be the printability of this material? Means for the printability, we just cannot means take some materials or we can't print it. So that's if we go for by the gel printing process or by printing that require a certain amount of viscosity. And as we know
Correct.
that you are taking some cells, this it should be go in this way. We can't use this FDM process. So how you are means making these organs or what are the alternative way?
So to print the organ, like the bioprinters don't use FDM kind of technique. They use a direct ink printing technique to make the printed part. So in the direct ink printing, what we are doing, we have a jelly kind of structure, raw material within a syringe kind of arrangement, and that material will be pushed by a plunger downwards toward extruding nozzle, and then the extruding nozzle will move in X and Y direction and will print a part. So that technique has been used, and even the material, like the stem cells, what we have extracted from the patient, will be first converted into a 3D printed form of material. So we will add certain kind of additives, certain kind of chemicals there. Those chemicals will be a natural kind of additives, uh, which will convert the material into a 3D printing form of material, and then that raw material will be used to do the 3D printing.
Okay, sir. So most of the cases, these materials are means in the polymer itself, means polymeric materials.
These are not polymeric material. So it depends on a type of a technique what we're using. So they are basically not a polymer. So they are solutions. They are a liquid kind of solution, which we are going to inject it on the table by an injection. Like you all have seen the injections now. What we do in the injection, we have a plunger. We press the plunger, and the material will come out from the nozzle, correct? From the needle. So the same kind of mechanism is been used here. So we are only going to press the plunger and take out the material from the needle, and that needle will move on the bed, giving the desired shape of the part which needs to be printed. So that is how the bioprinting has been happening.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Yep, you.
I am Dr. Manish,
yes, sir.
Assistant Professor in CPET Jaipur. Sir,
Yes, sir.
there is one inherent features of additive manufacturing, that is a steering effect.
Hmm.
That is
Hmm.
prevalent in the bioprinting materials. If we
That is what, sir?
to how much extent?
So I didn't understood your question.
Sir, a steering effect, sir, the inherent,
Yeah, yeah.
the steering effect is inherent in the additive manufacturing
Yes, sir.
process.
Correct,
So
correct,
how
sir.
much
Correct.
it is prevalent in the biomaterial printing, like
Steering effect, like stair steps,
stair,
what you're
stair,
talking about.
a stair.
Yeah. So the stair step effect is always going to be there in the 3D printing because of layer by layer manufacturing technique. So the best way to reduce the stair step effect is to reduce the layer thickness of the part. And by using any laser liquid kind of 3D printing technique, we can reduce the stair steps effect. Like if you're printing with SLA or DLP, so the minimum layer thickness which is possible to print there is 10 micron. So if you're printing any more, then we are going to get a very good surface finish. But if you're printing it with the same model with 100 micron layer layer thickness, then the finish is not going to be that much good. So it depends on the type of a technique what you are using to do the 3D printing. Hello, you got the answer, sir?
Yes, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Suresh, right now I don't have any bioprintable machine with me since we work only for the education side. We are not into the organ printing or actual implantable material. We don't have a bioprinting facilitator with us, but you can find the videos on the YouTube from which you can take the references. So to make the cadaveric model, we're using FDP technique as well as the DLP technique to make the models as a substitute of the cadaver models. And one question is again there. So Abhinandan is asking that he have designed a bone in a mimic software but don't know which material should be used for bone printing. So Abhinandan, it depends on your application. Most of the part, like for what you're going to print the board. If you're printing it for the implantable kind of material, implantable, if you're printing so that the model is going to be implanted into the patient, then your material should be biocompatible. If you're not, if it is only for the visual or aesthetics point of view, then you can use either PLA or ABS material to print a body model. Janvi is asking what kind of 3D printing technology has been used, especially to print microvessels and nerves. So, for such kind of fine printing, we can use polyjet technique or multijet technique because those machines have a fine accuracy of almost all 5 microns to 10 microns. So, with that accuracy, we can get the nerves and vessels printed quite easily.
Okay, Piyush, thank you so much. You have covered a lot of queries of our participants, different experts also being attached here with us. So thank you very much for your time. It was really a very insightful session on the biomedical applications of additive manufacturing. Yeah,
Thank
Dr.
you, sir.
Manish, please, if any query, ask because session.
I don't have any questions, sir. It's just my request to share the slide of the session to you and the
Yeah,
also the
it
presenters.
is you available on YouTube Live also. Okay, so there will be no need of separate PPTs. You can go through this. We will share the YouTube links. You can anytime you can watch.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Peach, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Okay. See you in second session of yours. I think it is on the last day of FDP.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So see you there. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much, sir. So, with your permission, I'll take a leave, sir.
Yeah, please, please. Okay, dear participants, here we are
Thank you
compiling
so
up
much,
the
sir.
day one of this 6-day ATAL FDP. Okay, the attendance links already been shared session 1, session 2, and also now I have put those links on WhatsApp group also. Okay, so don't worry about that. Thank you for your valuable time and being patient throughout the sessions. Thank you. You may leave so that we can club up. Okay, if it may be there that some of you are not still on the WhatsApp group, so what I can do best it here. I have a lot of time. I have sent the email also, but still it was difficult for you to join. So that I am sharing again the WhatsApp link. So if directly by clicking on that WhatsApp group, you can be the part of WhatsApp group. Okay. So still about some participants are there joining from that YouTube live also. So I'm also pasting there for them. Okay.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
sir, is there any feedback link, sir?
No, please, no feedback. Feedback will be directly you have to submit after the completion of FDP on ATAL portal. That is mandatory.
Okay, sir. Today
We
only
are,
or it stays, sir?
oh, separately at the end of feedback will be
End of.
to be filled at the end of your. You need to log in at your ATAL portal, and there is some feedback link. So directly you need to submit that mandatory feedback. There is no control at our own. Only at
Okay, sir.
AICTE people will manage. Yes.
But here in daily session, no need to fill
No
feedback.
feedback. Daily you have to mark your attendance, session wise attendance. Then only because it is mandatory to have 80% of attendance and 70% in the test. Test will be conducted
Okay.
at the end of means last day. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Please take care. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
everyone. I have also submitted that WhatsApp group link, so directly you can be the part of WhatsApp group now. Okay. So okay, now bye bye. This end of day 1 for us here. Tomorrow we will have the third session. Professor PK Jain from Triple ITTM Jabalpur join us. So we will have that session tomorrow at 11 a.m. 11:30, I think. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.